Hey family, we are live, broadcasting live. This is the Conversation Room 101. Make sure it's only adults in the house. I need your mind to be open, prepared, and relaxed. Welcome to our home. Take your shoes off. We got some rules we need to go over. Be kind. No cursing in the chat. If you want to curse, call in. And no shouting out other channels. That's a no-no. We got one other rule. There is no judging our guests. It will not be permitted. Zero tolerance. And if so, you want to do that, guess what? We got security. And we will escort you out. Because over here, hashtag we don't care. We're going to be one big family. We're going to laugh together sometimes. We're going to cry. But we definitely going to pray. I thank the Lord above for everything. I lift him up and give him the glory. But you guys, right now, we're going to get our popcorn. And then we're going to see what's going on. And let me just park my car. And I'll be in there in a minute. I'll see you real soon.
The Copyright Disclaimer Act. The Copyright Disclaimer Act under Section 107 of the Copyright Act 1976, allowance is made for fair use for purposes such as criticism, comments, news, reporting, teaching, scholarships, and research. Fair use is used permitted by copyright statutes that might otherwise be infringing. Nonprofit, educational, or personal use tips the balance in favor of fair use.
Niggas playing hard, but he really soft. Papa got
Like, share, subscribe.
Do you want to know? Well, I've been thinking about you, and I think I have to listen, because the sun is up, it's a beautiful day. My beginning will be as bright as the sun. Come, won't you come along? And it feels so bright, it's like luck is raining on me. Go and follow your heart, doesn't matter how far. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me this time. Baby, baby, now Baby, baby, gotta go. There is so much love to give. Something's telling me it's right.
neighbors and the
When you
community
came to me,
compelled
who
to
are
scour
you?
the area.
It's you, yeah, boy.
Where does the fault lie on you?
Hey family. Hey you family. What is going on, you guys? We came on here today. Today is December the 26th, 2025. You guys, we've been around for a while. I was like, what the heck is going on? This year is almost over. You guys, I feel better. I feel a little bit better. My nose is still kind of stopped up. I'm gonna take this Mucinex DM. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it right now. I'm going to take it right now. So if I start feeling a little drowsy, because, only thing I really take is Tylenol, and Trump done already told us don't be taking Tylenol because, yeah, I can't even make this stuff up. Don't even take Tylenol because it has something to do with ADHD and all of that other stuff. And so hopefully, I'm going to take this DM. And, anytime any medication got DM in it, it will put your butt to sleep. I'm just letting you know. I just say, yeah, it will put your butt to sleep. So it's a big old clunky pill. Look like a horse pill. But hold on, y'all. Let me take it. Because I feel better. So much better. But I'm not 100%. I'm feeling so much better. I swallowed it. Anyway, you guys, how's everybody been doing? We had our Christmas in July giveaway just 12, 2, 3, today's the 26th, 3 days ago. And everybody's got their money except Tina Powers. Tina Powers, I gotta mail her stuff out. I told y'all, like, if you want to wait on it, Tina Powers, like, I ain't even worried. I gotta go to the post office and all of that. And I know I got Tina's information. I just gotta go and look up the last text she sent me, or one of the texts. You guys, let's just have a little conversation. Today is Sonia Watts' birthday. If you guys don't even remember Sonia Watts, we don't know what happened. We don't know if she's okay. What happened? We just don't know. I think it's she's probably got overwhelmed. I don't know. But anyway, I'm not even gonna assume. Crystal says, SP, I want you to know I've been listening to you since the early stages of the Naziah Harris case. You have been so positive in the podcast, and I hate that I missed the giveaway. Why did you miss the giveaway? Girl, we was having fun. Let me tell you, when I went back, I cashed apped everybody on the 23rd. If you didn't get it, you need to look in your cash app because it's there. Everybody got the cash app. And when I say everybody, only person didn't is Tina Powers. Because I mail her stuff to her. That's the only person. So, and I'm going to tell you, I'm going to tell y'all who was the biggest winner. Freddie was the biggest winner. Freddie told y'all tail up, Tina. Freddie told you up. She did. I think, Tina, you came in second. I don't remember all. Cody's voice came in third. But out of three of y'all took 75%, like 80% of the money home. Yeah, we're gonna keep her in our prayers, but you gotta have positive thinking. Hold on, let me spit this out. I gotta clean up this mess. I made a mess in my room, and I wasn't trying to make a mess, but it is what it is, So you guys, life is good. Yes, Crystal. Congratulations to everybody. It was fun. I had fun. And you know what? I'm gonna tell you guys something. Crystal says, I know I was getting over a sinus infection and worrying about getting Christmas ready. Oh, don't worry. Christmas is over now. You see, some people went all in as far as monetary, financially. I'm gonna tell you guys this, and it is the honest to God truth. When it comes to, like, especially the Christmas giveaway, you guys are my family. So I'm gonna tell you where my money went. My money went to you guys, and that's because my kids know, like, it's not a like, when Christmas comes, they're grown. I want them to keep their heart where it is right now because they're still young. And I think it's just best, that they just keep their heart in. And, it's not about gifts and money and all of that other stuff. Just, just do something nice. Be nice to people, and just be thankful. Just be thankful that, the Savior was born, because and I was thinking about this. I did too, Tina. I enjoyed myself. I do. I do. My husband normally on holidays, and he did it this holiday too. Normally on holidays, he goes over and be with his family. His mother is here, still here, and his father. And that's kind of crazy, being grown as he is, and your mother and your father is still alive. Um so he got to enjoy, Christmas with his mom. His dad lives in Arkansas, and somebody down there in Arkansas won that $1.2 billion. And if they get the one lump sum, it's going to be $849 million, somewhere around there. I know it's 800 million. I say to myself, I mean, could you just imagine? Think about it. If you won, and all of a sudden one day you broke, and then the next day you got 849. Let's just round it up to the nearest. $850 million. $850 million. Man, that is so much. I can't even imagine 1 million, let alone $850 million. Man, first of all, I would actually help a church out, and I would help the church that, we go to. But they really don't need help. But because, the church is paid for and everything, and they got the second wing or whatever they got or whatever. And then they got a new parking lot that is huge, and it's nice. It seems like they want to try to make the church into like a mega church. It's not a mega church. It is a big church, but it's not a mega church. But I think that they're doing, okay. I think they do okay. Anyway, I just would always want I don't know if that's the church. I would be like, here's a whole bunch of money, help whoever needs help or whatever. Because, I haven't been there in a while. When COVID hit, it messed a lot of church people up. It did. When COVID came in, they told everybody to stay at home, social distancing, distancing is the thing to not catch stuff. She said, I cooked this year, and I'm not bragging, but the meats was delicious. Okay. If I won that kind of money, I would try to give back. Yeah, I would too. So, I wanted to express to you guys, like, we got the new year coming in, and, just, don't think about a lot of stuff. Don't, get your finances and stuff in order. Get your finances in order. I don't have to tell you guys what to do. You guys know what you need to do. Make sure your heart is in the right place when it comes to the Lord, so that your prayers can reach up there. I mean, he hears them all, but, like, I'm going to tell you guys something sometimes. I think this, and I don't know why I think it, but sometimes, when I'm at work and people be like, some of the residents or whatever, they be like, help, help, help. I want this. I want that. Leave me alone. Just get out of here. I'm not taking my meds. And falling out, passing, getting black eyes and things or whatever, like, I think when I hear them sometime, I hear it all day long, all day. I used to work at this one place where it was more the memory care unit. And this woman, I said girl, an older woman, she would always say, help, 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 help. You would not realize how long a person every day, all day. That's what they say. Help, 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 help. You would think sooner or later they're gonna get tired, right? No, they don't. It's just all day. It just keep going and going and going and going and going. And absolutely gotta give back in many ways, silently. Yes, another chance, another year to do better and be a better person. Exactly, Crystal. Exactly. So, I think and I know it's nowhere near close to God and what he hears, but I just imagine sometimes cuz I do get tired of hearing it. I be like, golly, I mean, it is nerve-wracking. I'm just being honest with you guys. I'm just going to tell you. I'm not going to sit there and say, "Oh, it's a delight to hear." No, it's not. It's nerve-wracking. It's very nerve-wracking to hear over and over. Or they might be calling their husband's name or something. Um, I can't remember what her husband's name is, but ow, 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 ow. Oh, she must have loved some ow, whoever Al was, because she did not forget about Al. That's what she would say. Al, Al, Al. And, that was her husband's name, Al. Anyway, um, you know, sometimes we sit back and we complain and we get a little disgruntled about where we at in life. We want this nice car, or we want a new living room set, or we want to move, or we're not happy with the roof that's over our head because this person's making us mad, and this, that, and the other, or whatever, or whatever you need or you think you need, or yeah, you can do better, but in all, you know an all scheme of the situation, or looking at the situation, I can't tell somebody be happy where you at, but I can say, like, just be appreciative, just thank God, because I think that put a little smile on his face, that you know he got, because how would you like to help somebody and the only thing that they say is they want more, or this is not good enough? Like say for instance, you gave somebody a house and they say, oh, that ain't nothing, like, yeah, I need a bigger house, I need 5 bedrooms instead of 3, and I want to do this and I want to do, it's really, like, oh, like, can you be thankful that you even got what you got? Because you don't have to have it. You know what I'm saying? And then people be like, I am thankful, but, it just would be nice to have. No, and I know everybody wants more. Nobody's going to sit back and say, oh, yeah, I got, I mean, we say it, but we don't say it like, I got a nice running car. It runs good. I'm good. I'm good. No, we be like, if I got some money, I would give me another car. Like, get another car for what? You can only drive one. Yes, be grateful. Be grateful. Anyway, so, pay them bills and stuff. I was hoping, because I've got this one bill. My bills come on the 28th of every month. But I got one bill that comes on the 25th. And I'm telling you, I always forget to pay this bill. And I end up having to pay late fees on it. So I be like, oh, you know what? I'm going to pay that bill first. Anyway, the bill, like I said, is always due on the 25th. And I thought, did I pay that bill because, the 25th was Christmas. It came and it left. And I'm like, oh my God, I didn't pay that bill again. Oh my goodness. So I'm going to call it. It's the 26th. And, I want to listen to some of the, the details of this bill to see when my last payment. And it said December the 11th. And I was like, thank God. Because, see, my memory is not that great. So I know that I had put it in my noggin that whenever the month comes, I'm gonna pay that bill by itself. And but I need to call them and change the date of when the bill is due because it gets me in a bind every time. Anyway, I'm gonna let you guys know, like on my student loan, that's what I was doing this morning. Well, not this morning, but this afternoon. I haven't had to pay nothing on my student loan because I was still going to school. I don't know if I'm going to continue to go to school. I'm going to finish up my degree, my bachelor's. I don't know if I'm going to finish it or not. I don't know. It's getting late. It's getting late, 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 late. But I did start setting up. I said to myself, let me go ahead and start setting up the repayment, the loan out, for my FICA or whatever it is. FAFSA. It's FAFSA. So, and that's a phone call in itself where you got to take 30, 40 minutes of your life and make arrangements of what you're going to pay, when you're going to pay, and all this other stuff. So hopefully I'll get that situated. I told them I don't want nothing online. Send me the paperwork. I want it automatic. Take out my check. Take out my checking account. I don't even want to have to make a payment. I just want them to just take it out. You know what I mean? I don't even want to think about it. I just know that it comes out on the 28th. So I did tell them I wanted to come out on the 28th because she was like the 21st. Like, no, honey, don't give me another day in the month that I'm not even wanting to think about. I don't even want to think about the 25th, let alone now you want to put something on the 21st. Put it on the 28th where everything that I have when I pay my bills, I pay them on that day, and then it's all good. Anyway, you guys, I just was thankful that I can do it. I don't know what's going to happen, but hopefully, we get that handle situated or whatever. Just make the payment and keep on going. That's all you can do. Anyway, anytime when there's Christmas, things happen, people get all in their feelings or whatever. You get into it with people, of course. I'm always into it with an employee. It does get stressful, but I have been working a lot of overtime. So I figured it probably was going to happen. It didn't happen to a point where I'm like, you know what? I don't even want to go back to the job. But it does make my job uncomfortable. So, with that being said, like, yeah, it could be easily, I don't know if I want to take it to the next level and have to deal with more of it. Hey, Zena, how you doing? Let me say hello to everybody that's in the building. We got Zena, Crystal, Tina Powers, Nancy LaRose in the building. Nancy won a couple of times. She wasn't even there. Oh my goodness, y'all. Lisa Taylor, how you doing? C6 Banks. I don't think C6 Banks won either. She had some tickets in there. I don't think I called her name. And uh Danielle was in there. No, Danielle wasn't there. But I think she had maybe one ticket in there. But anyway, uh, Cody's Voice won the big money. So it ain't really just because how many tickets you got, because it only takes one ticket, right? But here's the thing. Like, you do get, more of a chance to win the more tickets you have and all of that. So, we're going to try to, I can just say we're going to try to do it come Christmas in July. We're going to try because you guys know I like to help and I like to give. And I think that you guys deserve it. I think you guys do, to just, because we we listen to these kids' stories and we put our hearts into it, and it hurts, and it hurts. And I'm gonna tell you guys this sometimes, and I'm just gonna be honest with you. Like sometimes you gotta back off listening to things that happen to little kids. Hey, Mona Lisa, how you doing? You know, and I think that's kind of what went on with my girl Sonia Watts. I think like it's only. I mean, because if you're not bringing good news. Thank you, Crystal, for becoming a member. Thank you. We appreciate you. And we appreciate you becoming a member of the family. That's what we need. We need more family members. Yes, we do. Yes. And so you guys, thank you, Crystal, for becoming a new member. We need members. We need members. You guys make sure you hit the like button as you come in the building. Share, 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 share the live. Anyway, so you guys, we're coming into this new year, and around about this time, sometimes, we gotta back off because if every time that you come in the building, we're talking about this kid passed, that like golly, you will be so down in the dumps, like you will sleep. Yeah, today's her birthday. I just want to wish Sonji Watts a happy birthday. If she hears or not, we love you. I love you. I know that. I can only speak for myself. But anyway, to have a birthday so close to Christmas is crazy because people would always round your birthday into Christmas, like this is your Christmas, this is your birthday, and you'd be like, dang, like they don't get to feel like what we feel like. My birthday is in July. So, if I get something for Christmas, it's for Christmas. And then if I get something for my birthday, that's 7, 8, 9 months down the road. You know what I mean? Like yes, but when you have a birthday close to a holiday, people always want to, you know, shadow your birthday with what the holiday is or whatever. So shout out to Sonia Watts, that yeah, yeah, when people are good, you don't forget them. When they good people, you know whether they I don't know, having something going on. They ain't got to have anything going on. They just don't. They probably just want to leave in a peaceful way where they're overwhelmed, or they got things they got to do, or they're going through something or whatever, or they rededicating their life to God, and they want to put 100% of their thoughts and their whatever they're doing. If it ain't lining up or something, they gon' feel it, or whatever, get a discernment. I don't know. People say what they want to say. They do what they want to do. My friend's son's birthday was yesterday. He turned 19. Oh my God. Yeah. But I tell you what, like sometimes, like, okay, so I'm going to share with you guys a little situation that happened. It happened on the 24th, on Christmas Eve. And I said I wasn't going to share so many of my working experiences, but I'll share with you a little bit because sometimes you guys give me good input. But one thing about it is, do you not know, like, not all input is good input, because we can sit back and look in a window and see a situation and say, well, I would do this, girl, I would do that, or woo 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 woo. But when you're in the room and you're dealing with something, you have to be very cautious about how you deal with people and feelings and things that happen. So anyway, I was sitting at the nurse's station, and this new employee, it was a guy, he comes to me and he says, hey, how do you transfer this person? And I said, well, that uh do you need, the stand, sit and stand? Do you need the Hoyer lift? Because he didn't know. He's new. He only been there 2-3 days or whatever. And I don't know who was on the hall with him. I was doing my thing. And so I told him that person can stand. And if you put the gate belt on them and they can transfer to the bed, they can stand for you. It's not a big deal. But I didn't say it's not a big deal. I'm just telling you guys it's not a big deal. Like, they wouldn't have, you know what I mean? So they say, okay, so another employee, and we'll call her C, Miss Cece. We will call her Miss Cece. So Miss Cece was like, oh, I'll come and help you. I'm thinking everything's great. So, I'm getting everything together. I say, okay, well, let me just go step out. I got to make some phone calls because, it's Christmas Eve, and I'm making sure that everything was lined up with Pooh Bear and my husband, and who's doing what. I'm still gotta have to, delegate what's going on in my house or whatever. So I go outside. I get in my car, and I call my husband, and I call my husband. I'm asking him what is he doing. He was wrapping some presents and telling him what goes with what and who goes with what. And I get a phone call from the scheduler. So I'm like, hold on, the scheduler's calling me. So I click over to the other line, and the scheduler's like, hey, SP, what's going on? I said, what do you mean what's going on? Nothing's going on. She said, yeah, something's going on out there. What's the big deal? And I was like, what are you talking about? She was like, well, the new guy that we just hired, he's ready to walk out. What are you doing? And I said, what are you talking about? She said, well, I got a phone call that he asked you for help and you told him no. Okay. So I said, what are you talking about? I don't know. No, that didn't happen and all this other stuff. She was like, well, I just want you to know that if somebody asks for help, you need to help them. I said, hold on right there. First of all, this is the scheduler. The scheduler calling me, trying to put me in my position. The scheduler now. So I said, well, I said, I'm going back in the building. I was trying to take me a little break and take care of some stuff, but I'm going back in the building and we're going to get this resolved. She was like, oh no. Oh my God. Oh my God. Do not do, there's this one cat, and he has made himself very famous when somebody grabs him or something, and he always say, unhand me now. He gets in my mind when somebody is doing something to me, and it's like, no, we're not doing that. Like no. So anyway, she's like, you know how people want to come at you, but they don't want you to express yourself. So I was like, so I'm back in the building, and I'm walking up to the hall. They're all standing in the hall. They're just standing there like, yeah, we're talking about you or whatever. Anyway, so I said, scheduler. I called her by her name. Her name is JJ. So I said, I got you on speakerphone. So I go up to the young lad and I said, hey, I'm on the speakerphone. I want to ask you, you came to me and asked me how did somebody transfer? And I told you. I told you they're one person assist. They can stand. Just make sure you put the gate belt on them. Was that the conversation? And the young lad said yes. I said, did you ask me to come and assist you with the transfer, or did you ask me how they transfer? He said, I asked you how they transfer. Okay. The young lady that made the phone call, I done got into with Miss CC before. She's the girl that walked out in the middle of the shift. She says, but wouldn't it been better had SP offered to help you? I just walked away. I don't have to answer her. I don't have to acknowledge her. We're not going to get into a discussion about what she think I should do or anything. At the end of the day, nobody wants me to say, look, you are the CNA. I'm the nurse. But that is what it is. Yes, unhand me now. And but I didn't say anything to her. I just walked away while she was trying to talk to him, talking about it would have been better if the nurse would have just got up and helped you. Honey, you don't know my description of my job because you don't know my job. You think you know my job because you're sit there and you're watching every little bit. And now at the end of the day, so as I was walking away, JJ that was on the phone, the scheduler, says, was that CC? And I said, yes. So because I asked her, did you hear? And she's like, no. No, you heard. You heard. Anyway, you guys, JJ says, oh, let's not get her upset. Let's not get her started. Here's a whole female that just called the scheduler, which the scheduler does have somewhat of power because she's scheduling people. She don't want to have to get on the phone and call in agency because I'm running people off and I'm running employees off and employees don't like me and I'm not getting along with them and I'm belittling them and this, that, and the other. There's no such thing. But this girl made it sound like that. She literally told a lie and said that this young lad came to me and asked me to help, and I said no. Now, she heard what was said. She didn't get it twisted. She just added in what she wanted to add in to make a situation into it was not a situation. I don't know if she was PMSing. I don't know if she was on her period. And I know that she's a little bit upset. But I don't know if it's jealousy or is it because I'm the only black nurse. Now, there's a man black nurse which already got in her face and told her, to step back and da-da-da-da-da. I don't think she even deal with that person anymore. But nevertheless. So, you guys, I'm asking you the question. Is it because we done had other altercations and she done walked out, but now she's back? Whatever. Anyway. Or is it my color? So That's how that was. I was disturbed because JJ that was on the phone was like, let's not get her started. Here's the thing. You're not even understanding. You know, at the end of the day, I'm the charge nurse and everybody's working under my license. I don't have time for somebody to tell a bald faced lie on me, and everybody's looking at me like I need to bow down to this woman that's lying on me and hope to God that, I can console her some kind of way. Make sure she's okay. Make sure she's okay. Do you just not know she just lied on me? She didn't even say, well, I didn't say that or anything. She just said, oh, it would have been better if she would have helped you. Now she's trying to make herself look righteous. That's what I had to deal with on Christmas Eve. Oh, I was hot. I was hotter than catfish grease, you guys. Let me tell you something. I did not have an issue. I did not have a problem. That's what I had to deal with. So I had to work the rest of the evening in a little bad situation, something that came out the blue. You know what I'm saying? It was no evidence for it to even happen. None. That conversation that she said didn't even exist. She knew it. Matter of fact, there was another person standing over there, which was the med aide, which heard the whole conversation. So she can't even lie and say, you're lying. He can't lie and say, no, I asked you to help. Because that's not how it went down. That is not how it went down. So, yeah, and I just wonder how somebody can lie on you and then act like you got to pacify me. You guys, it disturbs my whole intellect. I hate that you had to deal with that. That was nothing but a spiritual attack. Yes. And it doesn't, yeah. It was so weird to me. Like, I had just told this girl, hey, I'm finna step out for a minute. She was like, oh, okay. And then got on the phone. SP, that was a blatant lie. You are going to have to put her in her place and tell her to stay in her lane. And it's your color. It's your color. You are going to have to take this situation to the head people, period. Zena, and you're not the only person that said that. So I did call my ADO in, explain to her what happened. That same night, it was probably about an hour later, because I was a little heated. Because first of all, the scheduler called me. She's a CNA, and was like acting like she's gonna chew my butt. So, yeah, I called my ADO in, told her the whole situation, and I told my ADO in is very uncomfortable, very uncomfortable. And my DON, she listened to what I said. She was like, oh my God, oh no. I said, yeah. I said, first, JJ did not want me to go and ask the guy right then what's going on. And had I waited and she put her razzle dazzle, Cece put her razzle dazzle, because she's a beautiful, pretty girl. And she knows she is. She know the boy is looking at her, blinking his eye, wanting probably her Snapchat and whatever, and her Instagram or whatever. And she's sitting there smiling, twisting. But I think Me walking back into that building, approaching the situation right then, right there, at that time, made sure to resolve the situation as quickly as possible. Zena says, I've been there so many times and it's so frustrating. I know. It is very frustrating. And so I talked to the ADON and she's like, I'll take care of it. Now you know it's the holidays. It's Christmas Eve. And and I told her and she was like, and I just was not happy at all about that situation. Anyway, when I talked to my kids about it and, told them about first, I told my husband about it. My husband was like, oh. he was like, oh man, you do go through a lot of stuff. I said, yeah, I do. I don't know what this young lady's situation is. I don't know. I'm nice to everybody. I don't go out my way to be nice. I don't. I come in, I speak to everybody as much as I can. If I think that, you're gonna be snappy or you got an attitude or something, I don't speak. I just come in, give me the report, I get the report, count the meds, and I go to work. Other than that, I really don't care about nothing else. I really don't care about nothing else. I need to make sure the residence is in their bed, make sure that they are safe, make sure they're getting their care. That's what I'm there to do. That's what I'm there to do. And so when stuff like this is happening, it takes away my focus. You know. So we're gonna have situations like that. I just have not ever been really around someone that will tell a blatant lie. Exactly, Zena, a blatant lie, and then sit back and act like, yeah, whatever. I'm letting you know I don't like you. I don't care if you like me or not. I don't care. I really don't care. There's nothing I can do because you don't like me. I've never done nothing to you. You think I've done something to you. I haven't done nothing to you. I try to back you up, try to say, you're a good worker or whatever, or, da 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 da. This girl is something else. May those lies return smooth back to the sender tenfold. In Jesus' name, so it is. So, I don't know if I should say, hey, let's have a meeting. Would that help, work, or whatever? I don't know. I thought about it come Christmas. My kids came over to the house. We talked about it. They're a little bit upset because here I am, their mom. I'm laying in the bed with a headache because I had to deal with that. The sad thing about it is when I'm caring for a person, I don't care what color they are. I see their color. I don't care what color they are. I really don't. I'm going to try to get them the best help that they need. If they need a med, if I need to call the doctor, if I need to call the ambulance, if I need to start CPR, if we need to get the AED out, if whatever, we need to get someone to sit with them to make sure they're safe through the night. Whatever they need, I should be focusing on that instead of a young lady, and I think she's like in her 40s, sitting there lying. Crystal says, when you start feeling this way, it becomes time to IP things in the bud, nip things in the bud. It's either you or them. Yeah, I think it'll make the matters worse, but like I said, I put you or an RN, and there is complete rank in nursing. I'm not an RN, Crystal. I'm an LPN. I was trying to go to school and get my RN, but it got so complicated. I just said forget it. Like they want you to jump through the hoop, by the hoop, and then you know what I'm saying. And I'm paying for something I didn't even get. She said I worked in the VA for almost 6 years and I see it all. Yeah, I wanted to get my RN and actually I could, I got all my prereqs done. I was enrolled in school and I had to drop my class because all the classes was online. I didn't want to do online. I wanted to put my hands and stuff on stuff so I understand stuff. I had good grades. I had I had 3 classes, and 2 classes I had an A in, and the other class I had a B, a high B, but it was going to drop to a low B. But anyway, I dropped out the class. I still got to pay the $6,000 back, but I dropped out. So, cause I wasn't going to do that. But it's okay, you know. Yeah, it's crazy. Anywho's, you know, I don't know if I needed, people were telling me to, go in and have a sit down meeting. you know, um, and I'm thinking, this girl know what she did. I don't know if what my boss think about the whole situation. She told me, she was like, oh, wow. So you got to the bottom of it. I said, yeah. She said right there. She didn't say, oh, I lied. She just act like, yeah, but you could have done this. Like, so what? I said that. This is what I want you to do. You know what I mean? Like, oh my God, this girl is something else. Anyway, so the question is it because of my color? How I am the only black nurse. And like I said, when I come in, I don't try to, kiki with everybody. I just don't. I just, hey, give me the report, give me the keys, let's count, and there we go. And I do love this job. I love it. You know what I'm saying? Like I can do it with my eyes closed, you know. When situations happen, I haven't made no bad decisions, and things. So I don't know. You tell me. You guys tell me. Lisa says jealousy. So Lisa, you think it's just jealous? You don't think it's uh got anything to do with my race? Professionalism at its finest, just the facts, please. You know? So I did, like I said, I did call my ADO in probably about an hour after the situation. I had to get my work done. Once I got my work done and sat down, thought about it, I couldn't get over it, thought about it, thought about it, thought about it. So then I called my ADO in, told her the whole situation, blah, 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 blah. She was like, okay. She was like, I'll, I'll take care of it. I'll handle it, whatever. She said, it certainly could be your race. Yeah. So should I ask for a meeting? because my kids are saying, Mom, you should ask for a meeting and everybody come together. Because this is my third situation with this female. And I told my ADON that. I said, this is my third situation with this lying female. You know? Or should I just, since I've already mentioned it to my ADON, just let her see what she do? Do it get better? Do it get worse? What comes out of it? We'll see. It's because of your color they don't feel we as black people belong in this position. Yeah, I know that. Okay, Zena. I believe you are correct. I believe you are correct. But I mean, she does treat everybody like, like she's this and she's that. And the weird thing about it is, honey, you need to go ahead and go back to school. You can't take my position even if you wanted to. Here's the thing. I believe that certain people are so into their color, they don't realize like everything don't work the way you want it to work. The reason why I say that is because you can't tell me what to do because you don't have the credentials to tell me what to do. You want to tell me what to do, but you can't. They can't even put you in that position, just like the scheduler. When the scheduler called me and was like, hey, you need to do this, do that. You're out of line. You're even out of line, honey. Because you're not my boss. You know what I mean? You can tell me something, but no, you know? Crystal says, yes, take it to a meeting. You guys think I should take it to a meeting? Hmm. You know, yesterday I was all for this meeting and I was like, well, I wasn't going to call my boss on Christmas and say, hey, I would like to have a meeting and da 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 da. You know, you know. Especially when you're right. You know, when you're right, you definitely would like to have the meeting. You know what I mean? So that don't mean I get a meeting. I can ask, I can request. There's no reason for you to be feeling down like this because of the lies, right? Well, time kind of makes me feel a little bit better, and it does. It makes me feel a little bit better. I'm trying to think about, going forward. Like, is it going to resolve anything? Is it going to resolve anything? Or is it just going to be like, oh, you're pulling the authority card, just because you are the nurse, you want, to be honest with you, I want the meeting because I'm right. Like, she got caught in her lie, and it probably needs to be kind of put out there. You know what I mean? So, okay. Zena says yes, because it's going to get worse if this lady think that she can just lie like that with no repercussions. Okay. Yes. Okay. Yes. Okay. So everybody has told me what you guys are telling me. Sometimes when you're so close to the situation, you just don't want to poke the bear. But I'm going to tell you something, you guys. If I was in the wrong, I would just let it die. I would just be like, yeah, he asked me. I told him I was busy or something, or I told him no. I wouldn't be like, yeah, we need to have a meeting. But that was not the case. The case was he asked me how to do something. I told him how to do it. I'm pretty sure he was, you know, intellect enough to assist a person that stands to place them in the bed without a problem. And I okay. So so after we get off this live, you guys, I'm gonna call my boss. I'm gonna call her and we'll see if we can get it resolved. So anyway, um, because if a person can lie like that, then and have no, just sit back and be like, I just lied on you. So what? Like I lied, you ain't nothing you can do about it, ain't nothing you can say about it, uh-huh, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, I think she's gonna come with something else and she might be right the next time. Or maybe she needs to be a little bit precautious when she come for me, you know? Like now everybody know that you're a liar. Maybe you won't lie to try to prove it wrong. You know, I think like that. I think you need to have a meeting. I pray that it will work out. Hmm. Okay. See, you guys, know, like it can get worse, and I know it can get worse because the sad thing about the whole situation, really do not want to do this, but it can get worse when I see somebody that don't have a problem lying on a person and then act like they ain't did nothing. And so what? You know? Okay, I'm going to ask for the meeting. I wasn't going to. My daughter begged me to. I wasn't going to. But everybody says yes. Everybody that I even spoke to about this situation said, yeah, just have the meeting and, let's see. Zena says, SP, I had a situation where a caregiver who was a CNA in a nursing home, and she blatantly lied on me, stating I dragged the person in the hallway. Mind you, they had cameras everywhere. Mm-hmm. Yeah, see, that's one thing, Zena. I know you understand. People that lie like that, they'll make you have to fight for your license. So they got to know. So I do have to kind of put it out there like, hey, this person is a liar. That didn't happen. And she tweaked that when he asked me how to do something, that he asked me to help him do something. And she thought that, and then everybody's like, oh, don't say nothing. Don't say nothing. What do you mean don't say nothing? Don't get her started. Girl, if you don't get out of my face, Anyway, yeah. Anyway, you guys gave me some really good advice, and I am going to take you guys' advice. Every last one of you guys. And yeah, I'm going to call my boss, and I don't know if my boss say, yeah, I think we do need to have a meeting. And because at the end of the day, I'm the charge nurse, and if I'm not the charge nurse, you need to let me know. Like, if that's not what you want. But I can't be the charge nurse and CNA's telling me what to do and what not to do. You know? Like, what am I in charge of? We don't make the schedule. We don't know who's coming in. Then the scheduler's calling us, telling us to don't even try to figure out what's going on. Like let us handle it. Let you handle it, girl. Yeah. Anyways. Anyways, you guys, she said they saw no such thing happen and the staff backed it up. And then that person just sit back like, I've got a problem. Leave me alone. I'm a good worker. I come in here and I work doubles and da 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 da. Okay. You know. Anyway, so should I call the ADON back and say, hey, we need to have a meeting, or should I call HR? Because HR or the administrator, which I don't really know the administrator's number, but or the DON. She said they had that plan. So, or the DON. So I'm not going to call the administrator. I'm not going to call the ADON. All right. You need impartial people, SP. Okay. Just think if they didn't have cameras, I would have been trying to defend myself against the CNA who was white and I was the only black nurse. All right. You guys gave me some good advice. I feel a little bit like I couldn't wait to be off work or whatever and stuff. So, yeah. I'm going to make that phone call. I'm going to get off of here. Thank you guys for everything that you guys do. Yes, I appreciate you guys. All right. We're going to Monday. We will be talking about a case so that we can come into the New Year's and that we can get back on track, you guys. Thank you guys. You guys have a blessed day and happy holidays.